Hey everybody, how's it going? This week marks the end of my 5-year-old's soccer season. And I can't tell you how happy I am that it's gonna be over. It has nothing to do with like going to the games or watching my child play a sport, because I actually like those kinds of things. I'm mostly just really excited to not deal with any more of the parents at the game. Parents, I've found out, are crazy people. But when you get a group of them together to watch their children compete, the crazy just spills out all over the field. The most recent example of this was a couple of parents who were watching their 5-year-old daughter, who plays on my son's team. As she was running back and forth across the field, they kept yelling, "You gotta run! You have big strong legs, or you got little baby legs! You gotta earn that surprise!" They just kept yelling out at her like she wasn't trying, even though it was very clear that she was. At one point during a break, the daughter came over to talk to her parents, and they asked her, "Are you supposed to run fast, or are you supposed to run just a little bit?" She said, "I'm supposed to run fast." "Then how come you're only running a little bit?" I have to admit, first of all, that when it comes to sports, I'm probably the last person that you should really listen to as far as what we should be yelling and cheering for, because I'm not that big into sports in general. Even when it comes to professional sports, I don't have a team that I get like really riled up about, like, "You gotta win! You gotta win!" And if they don't, I just smack my head against the wall. To me, it seems silly, not for any other reason than who cares? For a very brief moment, I thought about coaching for my son's soccer team this year, just because they needed one. And I kind of wish I had, just to be a different kind of coach than what I'm seeing out there. One coach in particular, he seems like a really nice guy, but he is so intense on the field. I just can't even muster that kind of intensity for an entire game. As he wanders around and a kid like takes off, "Yeah, it's your time! It's your time! Go! Go!" I can't do that. I'm more of a cheerleader that goes, "Woo!" But I kind of expect that out of a coach. A coach is somebody that I think gets into it because they're really excited by the game, because they're really excited about competition and physicality and making sure other people lose and feel bad when they do. But the parents, what do they have to gain out of this? As my children continue to grow older, I do wonder about parents' motivation in making them do certain things. I'm surrounded by a lot of people that, as I watch them push their children into certain areas, before the child has a whole lot of opinion either way, and I can't help but feel like they want their kid to do something so they can show their kid off to somebody else and be like, "Look at little Johnny there. He's been playing the clarinet since he was 3 days old." And it's the same thing with this soccer thing. Like, what do you have to gain if your 5-year-old scores more goals than the other? Are you gonna meet up with him afterwards and be like, "Good job, you're way better than those other kids. You just beat them down into the dirt, didn't you? Just like I wanted you to." I can't imagine that it's for the kid. It doesn't make sense to me. I can see how it would be for the parent, because they can talk about it at parties and be like, "My child is amazing." But what does the kid care? I mean, there's some really great soccer players that I'm seeing out there. Our last game in which this whole craziness took place, one kid scored, I think, 13 times. Our entire team only scored twice. And I'm not saying that a kid shouldn't try. Kids should try, and that's what I do with my own kid. When he gets upset on the field and he wants to come out and take a break, and I say, "You just got in. You can keep going a little bit more." "But I want to come out." "Get out there or I won't love you." I mean, a lot of times that's what we say. We want our kids to try. I think that's one of the best qualities we can have anymore in today's society, is to have somebody who doesn't completely slack off, who doesn't do just like half the effort. Someone who actually goes in, does what they can, and is comfortable and can accept whatever consequences happen afterward. But when you do have a kid who is really trying hard, and you have their parents, the people who I assume are there because they love them and care about them and want good things for them, those people then are yelling at you constantly saying what you're doing isn't good enough, what's wrong. When I scale back from all this and think about parenting in general, the only thing that I can really come up with that is kind of comforting is that every parent, they're working on like their first draft. You only get to parent like that one kid one time, and you then have to worry at the end of however many years to say, "Did I do what I should have done? Was that the best I could do?" Because you don't get to do it again. You don't get to start back over. You might have another kid, but that's a different project. The first kid might be an epic poem. The second one might be a sonnet. The third one's probably just like a dirty limerick. Different kids need different things. So even if you have multiple kids, you don't really get to redo that first draft. But I think sometimes we focus too much into the future. Like, if they don't try now, they won't try later, and then they'll be living down in a van by the river. And who cares? I mean, if it's a nice van, that's not the worst. I'm not really sure where to end on this. I think that when we have to be first draft parents, we don't really know what we're doing, and we don't get a chance to reset and start over again. So maybe I am wrong in not pushing my kid harder and harder and harder. But probably not. Your kid is 5. Stop yelling at them. Also, thanks parents for not ruining me. One more thing, there's just a little bit more time to donate to my Movember page. I've been growing this thing for a while, and it'd be really great if you donated some money. Just follow the link in the description, and thanks for watching. You disgrace us.